So, Isaac Ludwig is an infrastructure technology consultant specializing in engineering digital practice. Isaac focuses on development and evolution of diverse design environments for innovative sustainability. Amazing. Beautiful work. So, Isaac, let's cast back to where you were before you joined the Living Abundance Mastermind. Can you share a little bit about where you were at before you entered the space? Would you mind sharing a little bit with us?
No, not at all. I was living a life very skilled and practiced in avoidance. I was walking one foot in front of the other, not really moving too fast. And I was not bringing myself, I was avoiding all things internally. And that caused the universe to respond to me in the way that it would to someone who's plodding through life. It was not a blissful time. I was frustrated, and I continued to not go there and wonder what's wrong with me, what's wrong with life. And I was just doing the things. And ultimately, for a long time, I was not happy. And I kind of knew why I wasn't happy, but I continued to not go there, to go in.
Did you know that you were avoiding going in?
Yeah, I knew. And, people that cared about me would say that. I knew.
Okay. So what was it that kind of changed your mind, or what was the kind of pivoting point that kind of inspired you to go in? Was there a moment?
I came to an end of a rope. I came to the end of more than one rope and decided that I had to do something before I slipped off and fell into something that I could not see the bottom of. It was just dark. And honestly, I got a secondhand introduction. I got an introduction into this whole process by someone who was sharing with me what this process did for her. And so I actually got to read some of the materials. I got to watch some of the materials. And what happened was it encouraged me to go in because what was in was inherently beautiful. It was myself. It was who I really am, despite the years of conditioning, whether it's society, whether it's my own conditioning, and that at the end of the rope there, the timing of that introduction was absolutely beautiful and essential. Life is pretty cool sometimes.
Yeah, so that was a really cool moment that has happened a few times. I just want to just talk into this phenomenon where, yeah, the person you knew was inside of the Living Abundance Mastermind. You were outside of the Living Abundance Mastermind, but you were receiving the energy of it and getting results from the work like secondhand. And this is what I've noticed happen in my marriage. It's happened for other clients where one person in the relationship is doing the work, and then it ripples out and starts changing the lives of those around us. And it's happened so many times now that it's like, it's really shows how interconnected we all are. So that was amazing. You landed some really cool contract. You had some big money win outside of the space. And then you decided to come into the Living Abundance Mastermind, having had these results, not even being in the space. So tell us a little bit about how your time has been inside of the mastermind. Like, what are some of the shifts and changes and results you've experienced with this work so far?
I've gotten more of everything, but primarily I've gotten more of myself. I have, every time I've gone in to meet and play with and own and spend time with my inner self, I always avoided that because I couldn't process the pain and or grief and or anger that stood in the way there, and all the blame because I considered myself not beautiful. I considered myself not beautiful. The process, going in and understanding and accepting that I am a beautiful individual, this process allowed me the space and the encouragement and the resources to go through those steps. And at first, and sometimes now, it was hard. It was hard. Produced great amounts of agony. So many things that traditionally I would just avoid. But going in and accepting the beauty of, I mean, it's on your board right there. We're talking about the tree, the connection to Mother Universe. I'm sorry, Mother Earth, all the way into Mother Universe, and having that cycle, and visualizing what I want, and then welcoming it in. And so I've gotten more of myself primarily, and I continue to, and I'm not done. I don't ever want to be done growing and learning. But that's internal. Externally, what I found is that, and continue to find, is that the universe responds to me different. Now there are different things happening that the universe lets me see. I'm having conversations with people that I've had in the past, people in groups, where before I would pursue them. I would say, hey, I would like to do this. And now I'm having those people come back to me to reinitiate conversations. And I'm able to respond to it from a place of like, all right, well, this is where I want to go with it. This is what I want to do with it. It's happening socially, and it's happening everywhere. My situation it's still growing and changing. There are still certain things that I want to see, visualize, and manifest. And that's, I have the patience now to not want to grab it all like I've been taught and say, all right, we're going to apply logic to this. We're going to apply formulas. We're going to apply a spreadsheet to this. And instead just go in and listen. And I know that more is coming because I know that I'm going in more. So the more of myself that I give myself, the more I'm noticing that the universe is responding around me. And that doesn't always include something that feels good. That doesn't always include something that I would perceive as positive in the moment. There are things that come, and I have to trust that they are aligned for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard stuff, isn't it? I think you've been so brave, by the way, feeling, because this is really also about learning how to feel, isn't it? And feeling yourself and knowing yourself. Is there any other, you don't have to share it, but Isaac has experienced some pretty cool manifestations. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about some of the things that have landed into your life?
Yeah, the perception, the fact that I can coherently have an interview with you is proof that there is some advancement and development that I can even do this. The fact that I can be in certain situations and settings is proof that I can and am doing this. In fact, even being part of this community and accepting it and embracing it and feeling the connection with them has, before I would have sat off to the side or not participated. But man, y'all drew me. It was just, it was so great and continues to be so. So I'm showing up for myself, and again, still in development. And that means I'm showing up to the universe, to others, to life, to love, to money, to sex, to power, all things, showing up to them differently and learning how to love, embrace, play, and interact with them. It's quite vivid. It is a vivid experience. And so that's going to include all the things. And I gave it to myself, and you helped give that to me. You showed me the way. Thank you, Lara.
You're so welcome. Well, you showed up and said yes and did the work and do the work. So thank you, because it's absolutely beautiful what you're doing and what's showing up in your life. I'm thinking about other people that are listening that might be kind of hiding in the shadows, scared, kind of wanting to step in, but yeah, feeling terrified, you know, as you were for at one point, kind of watching from a distance. What would you say to someone who is maybe watching, listening, curious? Maybe they're feeling scared or not sure that they can do this, or it's great for you or great for someone else. But do you have any words of wisdom for people who might be witnessing, watching, curious, wanting to step into this game, but full of self-doubt or fears? What would your words of wisdom be?
When I joined, I told myself, I'm going to invest in this. I'm going to give myself this experience and invest in this. But what I really did was I invested in myself. I had to come to a point where I wanted more. And in order to make the decision to do that involved a great amount of trust. It involved shaking. It involved fear of failure, or the fear of not seeing what I thought I could see. Even with that secondhand exposure, even with the secondhand exposure of what I saw, I still had to walk through the feelings of what if this does not do what I think it did. And that's kind of part of the problem. I was trying to figure out what it would do. And so taking the step of investing in yourself, even though, you know, I'm not necessarily in light work or in the entrepreneurial space myself at this time, wanting that success and trusting that it would come. It was hard, and it should have been. There's no way that you can enter a process like this easily, or nor should you just flippantly say, all right, you know what, I'm going to do this. Nobody does that. It's a core investment into yourself, and remains to be so. It remains an investment. It's not like you get started and you're like, all right, here we go. It remains a investment every day, and not just saying I'm signed up, but actually attending, going there. And it's not necessarily just the community and the vault and all that stuff. It's being in it and living in it every day. Just because I signed up for this does not mean that automatically. No, I have to be in it. And so my advice is to really consider what you're going to invest in yourself.
That is such great words of wisdom. I'm just thinking about when you were on the outside looking in, having some secondhand results and experiences versus, and what you saw then or thought this was then, and what you know now and what you can see now. Are they quite different perspectives and point of views? Is it different to what you thought?
It's different to what I thought, in the sense that previously I knew what chakras were. I knew what yoga was and breath work. I knew all those things. I had heard about them, and I believed that they were real. I believed that they worked. But the first time I actually went in and centered my chakras, the experience was unlike anything I've ever had before. Accepting the fact that I could go in and do that, it changed from knowing and believing that it works. much like yoga. I tried yoga this year for the first time in my life. Incredible. Knowing that they work, believing that they do, and actually experiencing them and going through them. Well, I'll tell you what, that's the difference. Actually experiencing it instead of just knowing and believing that it's there and exists. Experiencing it is incredible. I'm going to run out of words in the English language to use to describe that.
You've done a fantastic job describing. And thank you so much, Isaac. I know it's a big thing for you to come up and be visible like this. And I honor you and I thank you. And it's really nice also for more, men in our space to share their experience as well. It's very brave work you've been doing and very powerful work. And I know it's also just the beginning of some exceptional things that you're creating and becoming in this world. So I honor you and thank you so much for taking the time to come and share your story with us.
Well, thank you, always and forever.
So